Hello and welcome to the morning after show. My name is Joshua Reimer, and at least today's introduction was better than yesterday's introduction. Jared, you're my co-host. You're the co-host for every morning after show. How are you doing today? And how is Monday Night Football for you?
Doing great. It always feels a little bit better. You can have the pep in your step coming into Tuesday morning with a big win on Monday night, which is exactly what happened. It was the sweatiest primetime game of the year so far for me, and we can talk about it here. But yeah, that was it came down to literally like the final 2 minutes of the game for sure.
Yeah, I was sitting there alongside you. You saw my shout out. I was right there with you the whole time. Um I was like, it kept going back and forth every time I checked it. And I was like, man, sooner or later, we're going to be in the money at the end of the day. I feel good about it. And we did exactly that. You got in the money on both sides. So it was a very good day.
It was, yeah. I think I owe a lot to Austin Eckler. Probably have to buy his
Yeah.
jersey now. Yeah. Also, Jared Cook can just literally suck it. So we'll talk about how all of that happened and why that happened and like what we can expect from the both of these teams moving forward. But I want to show and start off. I want to start off today's stream with a funny video because I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's probably the best. I wish I didn't look at this video beforehand because if I didn't, you guys would have seen me absolutely just laughing my ass off on stream. But here we go. Let's watch this video before we do anything else.
Things. There's one guy. This guy, I've always wanted to see this guy in the quarterback chair.
Good to see you, man.
See you, coach.
I'll tell you what. You look pretty good over there, man. It's a little intimidating being over there, isn't it?
It's about to get a little intimidating over there, isn't it?
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna need to clean up on aisle 5 after that look, man.
I'll tell you what, you might. Things might have started out a little rocky, but I'll tell you what, after a little while, we started seeing eye to eye, man.
Let's talk about this guy. What do you see from Teddy Bridgewater, man?
Bridgewater's another junior. He's out of Miami, Florida, and he really helped turn Louisville from a basketball team to a football powerhouse.
Wait a second. You're telling me he took a bunch of basketball players and made them play football? I don't see that
When
happening,
you think
man.
of Louisville, what do you think of? You think of their basketball
I
team.
used to think of
Don't you?
basketball. Now I think of Teddy Bridgewater. You ever play with this coach's clicker, man?
He used the one that says play.
Play. So I press play, and
Like
it
if you want it to
plays.
go backwards,
I
you
press rewind. It
rewind.
actually goes back in time. Take a look at this, guys, man. Take a look at what's going on here. We're actually breaking the space-time continuum, man. Who designed the forward-backward mechanism that goes on with this thing? Show me green right slot, albacore 3, Y quesadilla. You know this one.
play does not exist.
How about Tarantula 2 Z beryllium phosphate? What are you doing there, man? That's Frankenberry 3 Xbox 460. Come on, man. Would you rather stay in the pocket or are you going to run outside? You got somebody like Jared Allen coming at you. What are you going to do, man?
You gotta stand in there and take the shot.
You're going to take that shot. You're going to let the monstrous Jared Allen come at you and take a big time shot. What about your linemen, man? What are they doing? Do I look 50 years older with these glasses on right now, man? I feel like I could be telling stories to little kids somewhere.
Okay, that's all we need to. Oh gosh, so Jared sent this and it cracked me up this morning. Again, it was something that I was like, dang, I wish I just saved that for the stream because it would have been so much better for you guys to see my live reaction to it. But definitely very funny, definitely a good time.
Oh yeah, always a good
Uh,
time with Grant Caliendo.
yeah,
Always a good time with John Gruden as well. Literally every single John Gruden thing you can make fun of. So that's
yeah.
kind of what I want him to do.
We need to find. This is the second time we have talked about Fred Caliendo and his impersonation of John Gruden. We need to find a way. We need to get our AP on this to get Caliendo on the show to have an interview with John Gruden. but it's actually caliendo. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah, that would be top-notch quality right there.
Definitely top notch quality right there. All right, talking to the chat a little bit. QDZ, good morning. Andrew P, good morning. Boucher says, yo, what's up, guys? What is going on? Girl Dad, good morning. All right, let's talk about some Monday Night Football. Jared, what's your thoughts about this week's Monday Night Football?
Yeah, again, a game that I thought coming in seemed a little bit overhyped. That's been a thing now for the last couple of weeks, especially Chargers games. Obviously, the one against the Chiefs was warranted, but it felt a little bit like the Dallas game. So I say all that in preface to say that we need to take a closer look at what Brandon Staley is doing to opposing quarterbacks, and that directly relates to fantasy, which we saw last night. But it also affects how we're betting things from a sports betting view. And since this is a sports betting show, that definitely played into how I was selecting specific sides and totals yesterday. The Josh, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I came out after, and I said I put this in the article, but I don't know if people always read the trends that are in the article page. So if you read that last night, you would know that the under has hit in the last 7 Chargers games, including every single game this year so far.
Wow.
Now, with the fact that they played both the Cowboys and the Chiefs, you take another look at why is this happening. And Brandon Staley has made it a point to allow teams to run on them, which is why we saw big games from Zeke and big games from Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the weeks 2 and 3. And he's tried his best to keep that single high, if not double safety, in place for most of the game. Last night it worked out because Josh Jacobs came in not 100%, and they even lost Peyton Barber early on. Kenyon Drake dealing with a sore hamstring as well, which wasn't told until the the middle of the game, which was awesome. Anyway, they were hurt last night on the line and in the running back core, so I was not afraid of anybody. And uh, I think that we can kind of try to stop targeting tight ends against this LA Chargers team because it doesn't seem to be working out.
Seems like just teams against this LA Chargers team. I mean, I was impressed with the defense all the way around. The defense looked really good. This is a guy in Carr who every other team that he's faced off against, he's had like what 400 plus yards or at least 350 plus yards. He's been absolutely
Yep.
dominating teams. And now we saw last night 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Definitely his worst game of the season. It's really impressive to see how this Chargers team has taken their step forward to be that really good team. Um, and like they just look really good. I mean, I don't want to call them Super Bowl contenders, but I think they are a team that if the Chiefs aren't going to be the Chiefs of the AFC, then they could definitely make a deep playoff run.
They're certainly in the conversation for the wild card and obviously the division right now. The issue is that there are now 3 AFC teams in the West that are 3-1 in that division, and the Chiefs are not one of them yet. So I am going to expect that this is going to come down to end of the season interdivisional matchups, and it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out of that because the Broncos, when they were put up against their first true test, failed against the Baltimore Ravens, who actually were missing like half of their defense. And yeah, I mean, the Raiders last night, I was expecting a little bit of a closer game, but I felt pretty confident that Staley's plan would have worked, which is why I uh, backed the Chargers -3. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like the thing with the Chargers always is we all know that they have elite offensive weapons. Like they have Mike Williams, they have Keenan Allen, and Austin Eckler. And I have no issues with any of those guys. I think they're excellent pieces to build around Justin Herbert, who I do think is the truth. Now, the big thing that always hurt them was just penalties and inflicting self wounds to themselves in late game situations and clutch time, and that's why they fired Anthony Lynn and got a new head coach, and it seems to be working out in their favor. The only thing I was unsure of was their defense, and that's been the huge talking point so far. So, if you don't see anything talking about the LA Chargers defense, you need to start paying attention to that.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree in that regard. I mean, like I don't think this Vegas team is gonna do much. I don't know if they're gonna be a team that's gonna be competing for that wild card spot come the end of the year. Honestly, I don't know if the Broncos are going to be a team that's competing for that wild card spot. I mean, I don't know. I just worry about that too. I think the Chargers are, and I think the Chiefs are, and I think the Chargers have the hand up as of right now. I would say that the offensive advantage probably goes a little bit to that Chiefs team, but not enough to make up for the huge defensive disadvantage that they would have against this Chargers team. So I lean with this Chargers team at the end. I know it's crazy, and I'm curious to see what they have it at over at Bet Online. But I feel like this Chargers team could definitely win the AFC West this year.
Yeah, while we look at that and get those odds pulled up, I'll give you the schedule because now this is where things start to get a little bit dicey for the Chargers. And I think that they can come away with a lot of wins here, but this is going to be like the true testament of how things are going to go for them. Again, their end of the season schedule is I wouldn't say brutal, but there's a lot of divisional matchups in that month of December. The next 3 weeks, 4 weeks they have the Browns in LA, and then they go to take on the Ravens at a noon game in Baltimore. They then have the Patriots at home the following week on Halloween, and then they go and face Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. So it's going to be a couple. I don't know. I think they can win most of those games, but they're definitely going to be tested on what we're going to kind of see if they're the clear front runner or not.
Yeah, for sure. And then they have a little bit of an easier stretch, right? They go against they go against the Vikings, then the Steelers, then the Broncos, then the Bengals, and the Giants. So like it's a little bit easier stretch, and then they come to the home stretch. They have Chiefs, then they have Texans, which is a gimme, and then they have Broncos and Raiders to end off the year. I don't know. I like their odds. I think this is a good team. I the little bit that I have watched of this team, I really do think that they are top notch. Chargers plus 275 to win the AFC West as of right now. I like those odds. That's saying that they have. I don't know how to do the implied odds for odds here, but or the percentage odds for this, but like that probably means they have like a 15% chance of winning the division according to Bet Online. I don't know. I don't believe that's true. I think they probably have a lot better chance than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for the price that you're paying, I think that it's worth a shot. I would back it a little bit, but again, we need to see what happens. Like last night was a good indication of where this team is heading. They do have two tougher matchups. Really, really interested to see how that defensive or that offensive line for the Chargers holds up against the defensive line for the Browns. That's probably the biggest storyline of what I'm looking at for next week.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else in this game that you found interesting in regards to, just either DFS or real life football?
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow, one of the most underrated people in the NFL.
Do we need to pull this clip up?
Most underrated. Yeah, let's do it. The most underrated wide receiver in the league, probably, especially when it comes to route running and just football IQ in general. He may look like a baby mixed with an old man all in one, but he knows how to play football.
All right, here we go. We're gonna pull this up for you guys because Jared sent me this clip as well, and here we go.
Wants to play.
Let's see this.
The Raiders need to play.
They're going to fake Ty Long to throw for it. And it was caught and knocked out of bounds. Ty Long, the punter, found Tavon Campbell.
Yeah. So
let's see. Hunter Renfrow came up.
Hold on. They're gonna have like a
what up for Renfrow? There he's back.
Oh yeah,
deep,
they are. Okay.
Trying to field the punt. He comes out of nowhere, out of center field. He sees it coming. Here he comes up and puts his hat right on the football to prevent the first down. That's a heads-up play from Hunter Renfrow.
Wow, that's a crack, man. That is an absolute crack right there. That is crazy. What a good video. Yeah, Hunter Renfrow. I mean, I've talked about Hunter Renfrow a ton already this year. I touted him a ton in week 2, I think, when he was when I knew he was going in the slot against the Steelers. But that's impressive. That's a good hit right there.
Yeah, so for context, the Chargers had a 4th and 2, and they did this twice where they made really, really weird special teams plays, but that's what won them the game. This one didn't, but this one specifically was a 4th and 2 at midfield like we saw, and they had just one gunner who really wasn't a gunner. It was like a design thing. That guy definitely can't run that fast, but nobody was covering him, and Renfroe was the punter, and he saw it as it was unfolding, and I don't know, if the Chargers probably were to do something differently, they would have snapped the ball faster and threw the ball quicker, maybe with an inside slant instead of just going out to the flank. But yeah, I think that's like kudos to the Chargers for going balls out on that play. They did it a lot yesterday where they went forward on fourth down in spots where it was dicey. And just, I mean, it was probably the smartest game decision outside of that last play, which we'll talk about in a second, by Hunter Renfrow. He was probably the MVP of that Raiders team yesterday, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I mean, the touchdown was an excellent route from Renfrow, and that play right there was obviously extremely high IQ football. So I don't know. I mean, I think that he was probably the best player on that team yesterday.
Is he going to continue to be a guy who gets almost like, I know week one was just kind of an anomaly with seeing Waller get those 19 targets, but like, can we expect Waller and Renfrow to see the same amount of targets pretty much every week at this point?
I mean, you would always probably try to give Waller the edge there, which is fine. But at the end of the day, that's the guy that people are going to be looking to stop on defense, and Renfrow is going to be that guy that squeaks through and is just the guy that's more efficient. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say more efficient than Waller, but he's just going to be the guy that steps up if the defense were to sell out to stop Waller, which I think happened last night. So, yeah. And then I guess the last thing that I want to talk about and discuss was the most clutch play happened for several reasons last night at the very end of the game. When the Chargers were going to kick a field goal, it seemed like it was going to be like a 45 to 50-yard field goal try. And I don't think that they have ultimate confidence in Vizcaino right now. He's not like the guy that they set out to have as their number one kicker, but they've been dealing with some personal stuff for their guy. So yeah, so that was very interesting to see. And then if you didn't watch the game last night, the they lined up for the field goal, but instead of snapping it to the holder, they snapped it to the kicker, who then pooch punted it and forcing the Raiders to get the ball on their way back when in their territory, which to
Nice.
me was the clutchest thing for several reasons. One, if they missed the kick for whatever reason, they wouldn't get good field position and be able to drive down the field because they had the momentum at the time. And then two, that field goal would have probably sent us out of cash at the time, which then would have flipped the whole game because
Yeah.
everybody and their mom had Vizcaino last night for some reason.
Yeah. That punt nailed it down to the 10-yard line. Or well, he got to the 4. It was a 6-yard return. And but getting him down to the 10-yard line kind of ended the game cuz then they had to try to air it out and it just wasn't working out for them. So, yeah, a very clutch play right there for that Chargers team. It's encouraging to see teams be creative with special teams, I think. Like you don't see it very often. If you watch a football game, it's all the same when it comes to special teams. You know, you're going to take the PAT, you're going to take the field goal. It is what it is. But like to see a Chargers team be like that, even if it doesn't work, like with the Hunter Renfrow hit, like even if that's the reason it doesn't work, at least it's refreshing to see a team try to be different on special teams.
Right. And there aren't very many teams. I can say my team is not one of them that does anything related to those special kind of plays. The only really one that I could think of that does it routinely are the Rams and Johnny Hecker.
Yeah. That's because they can. Johnny Hecker's an animal.
Yeah, he is.
Johnny Hecker's an absolute beast. But yeah, my team doesn't do it in special teams. My team just does it with every other play. we
Yeah,
do
that's true.
creative
Good
stuff with
point.
every other play. All right. Anything else about Monday Night Football? It was a good game. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as close as some of these other Monday Night Football games have been, but it was still a good game to watch in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. And I don't think that any of them have necessarily disappointed. I didn't think that the Chargers were going to go up 21-0 at half, so that was something.
Yeah.
Did we miss what happened to Drake last night? Yeah, so Drake was kind of a no-show for most of that game. I thought that he'd be brought in more as a pass catcher in the second half, specifically down 3 scores. He did play, got 1 goal line touch, and he didn't really do much outside of being that blocking back for them. Had Josh Jacobs in on a lot of third down plays, which is surprising just because he looked slow and looked out of it. Also, Peyton Barber was dealing with injury too, so I don't really know. I know that Kenyon Drake had an injury to his hamstring at the end of week 3, and it was a mild thing that everybody said was not concerning. So maybe that flared up again. I'm not sure, but yeah, Drake definitely can go jump in the Pacific.
With the piranhas. All right, let's talk about this next segment. You guys know what it is. It is none other than Jason Garrett Tuesday, because that's where we are, Jared. We're at Jason Garrett Tuesday. I said we're gonna wait to talk about this Giants game until we get to Jason Garrett Tuesday. And I don't know if you've seen the title for today's show, but it's an encouraging Jason Garrett Tuesday. It's a good Jason Garrett Tuesday. It's definitely not a bad Jason Garrett Tuesday. So I'm watching this Giants game and I'm like, all right, I gotta have stuff ready for this segment coming up this week. I gotta have stuff ready to just absolutely call Jason Garrett a fish for the whole show. I just couldn't do it, man. Finally, we saw Kenny Galladay used the right way. Finally, we saw them use Kadarius Toney. Finally, we saw Saquon used the right way. Finally, we saw Daniel Jones be able to throw the ball and throw deep and do what he's supposed to do. Like, that's why he did so well. Exactly what that stat that I brought up. He needs to have 2 receivers that are going 15 yards or deeper. On almost every play that 2 receivers went 15 yards or deeper on their route, he ended up having a ton of success on those plays. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, man. Jason Garrett's obviously listening to the show. He's taking notes. And, hey, hopefully you keep taking notes, Jason, because you certainly need it.
Yeah, that was easily the strangest game of the week, I think, by far. Cleveland, Minnesota was a close second, but yeah, this one for sure. I don't know. It seemed to be on red zone way too much for my
Yeah.
liking because
Mm-hmm.
there was literally nothing good about it. But this, I don't know. I mean, Saquon Barkley looks like the truth again. Maybe he's getting healthier as time goes on. Maybe he's just being used the right way. Maybe that's what it is. But down 2 of their best receivers yet again. They found a way to actually get some of these playmakers the ball. John Ross being a big one. Kenny Galladay obviously finally stepping up and being used the right way. I think that he's finally in a spot where he can say, okay, maybe I am in the right spot on this team now. So we'll see how they use these guys moving forward. Maybe it was a one-time blip, but at the end of the day, I think this is mainly like, are we blaming more of this on the Saints defense, or was it a good game plan by the Giants with some excellent playmaking by Saquon Barkley?
I'm going to give it to the Giants here. I think the Giants ended up winning this one. They looked back. Yeah, I think they did look back as well. I think that, I don't know, this Giants team did everything that they needed to do. I think the defense held up against Jameis. I think this offense looked the best that it has so far this season. Really no complaints from me from this Giants team. I think this Giants team did what they needed to do here. And this is going to be, I don't think this is something that continues necessarily. I mean, they have a really tough schedule coming up. They have the Cowboys next week. Cowboys are about to lay 40 on them. They have the Rams after that. Rams are probably going to also lay 40 on them. Then they have the Panthers, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Bucks, the Eagles. And then they get a little bit of a break with the Dolphins. But oh no, you got to go face the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, then a little bit of a break with the Bears, and then the Washington football team at the end of the year. So lots of. It's a really tough schedule for this Giants team. This is definitely a little bit of a break that they got against the Saints team, but it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're feeling them, you can get them at plus 1200 right now on Bet Online to win the division.
No dice, not happening. I will much more happily bet on that Chargers bet rather than bet on plus 1200 for this Giants team. All right, anything else about Jason Garrett Tuesday? I wish I had something bad to say about him today, but I legitimately don't. Like I thought he executed everything that we talked about on this show. Thought he completely changed over this offense. The fact that he's using these receivers for these deep routes, it's good. It's a very good thing. So I'm happy with what Jason Garrett did this past Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, outside of outside of what I thought was one of the most athletic plays from a quarterback this season from Taysom Hill, the Saints
Yeah.
really were kind of kept in check. And I guess the more concerning piece is I know that Alvin Kamara ran for 120 yards off of 26 carries, but Josh, he was hardly targeted in the passing game at all. So if they're going to use him like that, I actually don't think that Alvin Kamara got a single target. Maybe I'm wrong. Um,
I'm looking
I
for
have
it
to double
now.
check that. I don't
No,
think that he got a single target.
he didn't get a single target.
Yeah, so for me, that's terrifying. Obviously, Taysom Hill got the touchdowns, which is going to be a thing that you have to, look out for every single game. But if they're not using Kamara in the passing game, I don't know what the Saints are doing. So again, this is a Giants segment, but I will say that their defense kind of kept this team in check.
Yeah. How scared are you, as if you're an Alvin Kamara owner right now? How scared are you? How are you hitting the panic button quite yet?
Yeah, certainly.
I would
Because
agree.
12 points isn't going to do anything for you. If
Yeah.
he's just like 120 yards is great. That's fine. But Alvin Kamara's ceiling is always with those receptions and the ability to get yards after the catch, especially if you're in PPR leagues. Like if you have him in a PPR league right now, I would consider trading him or trying to get something out of this. And then I'm as scared now for him as I was when that we were trying to figure out who the quarterback was going to be. Obviously, he gets a big step up with Jameis Winston, but they're just not throwing it to him.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely worrisome if you are an Alvin Kamara owner. I am luckily not an Alvin Kamara owner, so I
I
don't
am
have
not
to
either.
relate. I don't have to relate to any of those woes or any of those problems. All right, we got to talk about some playoffs because we have playoffs today, Jared. Finally, we have some playoffs to talk about. Some MLB playoffs. We had the wild card game. It's the Yankees facing off against the Red Sox. I don't have the odds pulled up for this one, but I can get them in the moment. There we go. Yankees minus 125. Red Sox plus 115. Over under set at 8 runs. Let's talk about this Yankee side first. Let's talk about Garrett Cole first. Cole usually does well against this Red Sox team. He did well against them last time out. I would love to pull up his BVP right now, which I'm going to do. But talk to me how you're seeing this going for Garrett Cole tonight.
Yeah, John just asked if both teams could lose tonight.
Oh. Awful, man. Just awful. I wore the Yankees hat. Not only is this the Yankees hat, but over here there's a patch that commemorates Derek Jeter getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
There you go. There you go. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in attendance tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
The guys in the chat pick who's going to win here, and we'll reward one of you guys on
There you
tomorrow's
go.
stream. So for the odds here, I saw this yesterday, and Garrett Cole is definitely gaining steam from the public. Yankees were minus 115, even down to minus 110 in some spots. Now they're minus 125 coming into the game day. I think that the Yankees bullpen is better, and that's why that they're getting a little bit more juice on this. We can expect Cole. This kind of seems like one of those performances, especially if JD Martinez is unable to make the lineup today. I'll have you search for news on that. But Garrett Cole, if he is who we think he is, I do think he shows up today. Maybe he gives up 1 or 2 runs off of single or solo shots or something. But I don't think that the Red Sox are going to feel very good if they have to play small ball against Cole. So I'm going to go ahead and say he goes about 5 to 6 innings at the minimum, 5 minimum, and then they go 1 inning per their relievers to get to that first round.
Yeah. So on the JD Martinez thing, Cora said yesterday that they really don't know. It's going to be very up in the air when it comes to if he's going to play or not. And I'm seeing right now that he's questionable with that ankle injury. I think that's absolutely huge for this Red Sox team, whether they win or not tonight. I mean, obviously their odds are a lot better when you have the best hitter or one of the best hitters on your team playing, but like JD Martinez is so important to that lineup, being that middle guy in the lineup in the 5 hole where he provides a gap between him or between the top of the lineup and between that bottom of the lineup that isn't very good. I would be concerned if he isn't in the lineup. And I already think the Yankees are going to win this one. I think it's like you said. I think at the end of the day, it's a more dominant pitching staff for this Yankees team. They have Cole. Cole's great in the postseason. I think we haven't seen him in the postseason in a while, but people forget just how good he is. 8-4 in the postseason over his 5 years in 9 series, 2.68 ERA, 84 innings, 108 strikeouts. Like, this guy is an ace when it comes to the postseason. Those numbers are also heavily skewed to a few games he had when he was with the Pirates, but the games with the Astros, I mean, he was dominant and dominant as dominant could be. In his one wild card start, he had a 2.57 ERA. He had a win in that wild card spot, went 7 innings, had 13 strikeouts. I could see him doing something similar to that. And look at that. It's amazing. Sometimes we're smart enough to realize when we should go live on the show. We're smart enough to realize that we go on the show at 9:30. That way, so we get that breaking news right in the middle of the show, because it's 10 now. Usually that's when some breaking news comes out. And we just got the news that JD Martinez is out for tonight's game. I wonder if they're going to take down the line at all. Let's go see if they're going to take down that line.
Not even out. He is not on the wild card roster. So can they even put him in if they lose or if they win?
Nope. Wait, if they win, yes, they can put him in if they win.
Okay.
But they can't. They can't.
He's not going to be able to pinch hit tonight.
Exactly.
Yep.
Which is telling.
Yep, that news broke by John Heyman. He also said that the MRI on the ankle showed no structural damage, but he's ailing, so playing tonight would take a heroic effort. They chose to sit him and hoping that he can play later in the week if they were to advance tonight.
Yeah. Going to be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know. Especially now that JD Martinez not being in that lineup is such a big hit to that lineup. I give the advantage to the Yankees. Honestly, without JD, they should probably be up to -140 in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised to see this line get steamed to -140 by the end of the day.
Yeah, not going to be I'm surprised that the line didn't get taken down. Again, baseball is not really a spot that they're going to do that for unless it's the pitcher. But it definitely is a big blow to this team's morale as well as the clubhouse. Can he even be is this if you're, I don't know, maybe I should know this, but I don't. If he's out, not even on the roster, is he allowed to be in the dugout?
I'm sure he is. I don't know exactly, but I'm sure he is. I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat can tell us. D Ramfied said yes, he is. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be interesting, right? That's kind of if you're not playing, you at least want to have the ability to be on your team in your team's dugout for moral support.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And it just goes back to this bullpen point. I think that's where, because I think the hitting's basically even. Yankees have a pretty good hitting squad. This Red Sox team, even without JD, still has a good hitting squad. I would say there would be a slight lean towards Garrett Cole, except that Nathan Eovaldi is the Yankee killer, so this is the perfect time to start him. But when it comes to these bullpens, the New York Yankees over the whole entire 2021 season have the best xFIP in the league at 3.78. This Boston Red Sox team has the 13th best bullpen when it comes to their xFIP at 4.23. So it's a clear downgrade between the two, right? At the end of the day, this Yankees team, top bullpen in the league, or one of the top bullpens in the league. Think the bullpen ends up winning out at the end of the day. But I don't know. I'm going to be watching this one. I mean, I have the Yankees hat on. I'm going to be sweating tonight. I'm going to be watching this one extremely closely and hoping that we extend our playoff hopes. And whoever wins this one, they have to face the Rays, right?
I believe so. And to that point, if you guys have not signed up for Corn's MLB postseason package yet, we are going to be releasing that promo code here on Twitter as well as breaking it on the show right now. So you can go to rotoradar.net/MLB, and you can get the whole entire postseason package starting today for just $30. So that's 50% off with the code 29. I'll post it in the chat, but it's the numbers 29. Gives you 50% off of the postseason package. That's literally every single game showdown slate. We're going to have days where there's going to be 2 games on at the same time, and Corn's going to be providing for all that content there. He's arguably, if not even arguably, he's the best single game showdown pro on our team, even over myself. I'll give him the clear leg up, and he's the goat of what he does. Special time of the year for him, making some of the most calculated decisions, because if you're getting to the this far in the season, all these teams are good. So it's very hard to pick and choose your spots. Go ahead, sign up using the code 29. I'll drop that in the chat here momentarily. Josh, I want to cover some BVP for these two teams.
For sure.
because we have a ton of sample size to talk about. Obviously, it's actually pretty close, so I shouldn't say obviously, but the Yankees are hitting Eovaldi a little bit better, but at the same time, I think that there's been more big hits from the Red Sox in the home run department. So the guy that's done the best against Cole from a home run big hit standpoint is Rafael Devers. 5 for 21, so not that impressive there, but 3 of those 5 hits are home runs. And uh, outside of that, Kike Hernandez has a home run off of Cole, probably from a Dodgers game, if I would have guessed. Verdugo's gone yard against him. Travis Shaw's gone yard against him twice. JD Martinez has gone yard against Garrett Cole twice as well, but obviously he won't be playing tonight. And then Xander has a home run in 27 plate appearances. So again, I mean, he's done very well average-wise against this team, but he can definitely give up the long ball. So do you want to just touch on that? And who do you think that the Red Sox are actually going to roll out tonight?
Yeah, I bet it's the same lineup as what we're used to seeing, except maybe it all depends on, I think JD would have been in the DH spot, so maybe they put in Shaw, or maybe they put in one of their catchers or something. I imagine they probably put in Shaw at the end of the day. But like I don't know. I think this lineup looks pretty much the same as it has all season. I think that you have to replace JD. You probably see Bobby Dalbec end up in JD's spot in the 5-hole, just because Bobby Dalbec has been such a good hitter for this team. But I worry about the matchup against Cole because Dalbec's good against guys who don't strike out, and Garrett Cole has an amazing K rate. I don't know if there's anyone that I think is going to have success on this Red Sox team. I'm not going to say Devers because I think Devers would be the answer that everyone would expect. But Devers, not a lot of playoff experience. He worries me a little bit in that role. I would say, give me Xander. I think Xander has some playoff success. He's always been better at home. He's always good when it comes to the playoffs. Give me Xander here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that. Who do you think that they actually use to replace Martinez? Do they start Schwarber or do they DH him?
They're probably going to DH Schwarber. I don't think they need to start Schwarber. I think that they'll probably DH Schwarber now, which is good. They should have Schwarber in the lineup. I know Schwarber hasn't done well against Cole in the past, but I think Schwarber is a fine start there to replace JD at the end of the day.
On the Yankees side here, BVP wise against Eovaldi, Anthony Rizzo stands at the top in terms of delivering here against this pitcher. 9 at bats, 5 hits. 3 of those 5 hits are doubles. Only 1 strikeout, 9 plate appearances. The other Yankees that have had success, both Judge and Stanton have gone yard against them, as well as several doubles. So I think that those 2 guys are obviously probably the biggest piece of conversation if you want to touch on them.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of things that you can talk about in this Yankees lineup. I think the main thing that is important is to realize that it's not going to be Sanchez starting today because Sanchez doesn't catch Garrett Cole. It's actually going to be Kyle Higashioka. And that honestly works out for this Yankees team probably because Higashioka has had success against Nathan Eovaldi in the past. 2 for 3, no extra base hits, just singles, but has also had 2 RBIs. So he's coming up in clutch moments. He's hitting 667 against him. I think that this team is set up extremely well. If you gave me one player to pick who is going to hit a home run, I think I'd have to stick with the guy who's hot right now in Aaron Judge. We saw him hit a home run to send us into the postseason against the Rays. He's the one who walked it off for us. So I really like Aaron Judge in this spot. I also keep an eye out for Gio Urshela, man. I think Urshela is going to do some special stuff during the postseason. I don't know if you saw the catch that he made, but the Gio Urshela catch he made on Sunday was nothing short of like incredible. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna find a way to pull it up. We're gonna be on stream while I pull this up, but it was an absolutely incredible catch that he made against the Rays.
Yeah, if it happened on Sunday, there was not a chance that I saw it.
Yeah, it did happen on Sunday. So hold on,
Okay.
here it is. Hopefully you're able to see this. Here we go.
Popped up. Going to be a long run. Oh, what a play! And he goes in.
Just an insane to get that much. Like, I think it said there's a StatCast thing about it, how he traveled like 130 or 140 feet to get to that ball, and then just fell into the dugout and ended up getting scraped up because he fell into the dugout. But like, I thought that it was an absolutely amazing catch. He's turning it on at the right time too. So while I think Urshela could do some special things come this playoffs, if the Yankees come past this game and go to a deep run.
Not that BVP is everything, but he is 4 for 15 with a double and a home run against Eovaldi.
Hey, that's not awful. That's not awful at all. Anything else pop off for you for this BVP? And if not, then we can give some picks. You can give some prop picks possibly for this game.
Yeah, let's see what BetOnline has. Nothing else. I mean, there's guys that have done well historically. Again, that doesn't mean anything, especially now in today's game. But
No.
let's go ahead and see if they have any prop picks. I don't want to touch the total of this one. Never really want to in these wild card games because things could either unravel very quickly or the pitching is just locked down and you just really don't know which way it's going to go. Especially if, like, let's say Cole gives up 2 or 3 early, he's probably still in there, and like the same could be said for Eovaldi. So I don't necessarily know. Like, these guys are starters for a reason, so I don't really know why they'd get quick pulls, but the total always seems to scare me for these wild card games because they're always going to be low.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I want to talk about strikeouts first. So Garrett Cole, if you're going to, well, let's do the over under. Let's not do the quick picks for right now. If we want to do quick picks, we can look at that later. But his over under is at 6.5, right? Over juice to -143. I went to go look it up because I was curious. I knew he's had a lot of games against this Red Sox team. In his 5 starts with this Yankees team against the Red Sox, he has had 6 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, and 8 strikeouts. The 2 games where he had 6 strikeouts did happen in Fenway. So I don't know. What do you think about the 6.5 number for Garrett Cole?
I think it's juicy.
Yeah.
I think that you could probably go up a little bit higher if you wanted to. I know.
That's what I was thinking, man. Like, especially because JD's not in the lineup and you have some heavy strikeout guys. I don't mind going up a little bit heavier. You can go to 7, which I think is -143 on the dot. You can go up to 8, which gets you to plus money if you're going on quick picks. So I don't know, something to consider.
Yeah, it certainly is. I found something that, again, this kind of already has hit the point where I don't want to touch it anymore. But the runs, hits, and errors over under is set at 26.5, which is heavy juice towards the under. You're getting that at -175. I still think you can bet that, but I probably would focus on some other bets before you get to that one. It's always kind of rough sweating the runs, hits, errors thing, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Josh, 26.5 seems very high.
Yeah, it does, right? That's what I was saying. What is the juice on the under, by the way? You said it was juice, but I'm curious.
Yeah, it's -175.
Okay, that sounds about right. I mean, I'm not that surprised by it being that heavy. Yeah, it seems interesting, man. I don't know what to think about. I never know what to think about those bets because I see them all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm not the guy for that. You can also bet on hits, runs, and RBIs for each individual player if you go to the player prop section. I mean, Judge, his hits plus runs plus RBIs, it's around 3 to get minus money or relatively close to -100, and you'll see that for a lot of these guys. Any interest in a specific hitter that you like after looking at all that BVP?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good opportunity to bet on guys that are going to get multiple hits. So there aren't going to be very many of them, but yes, I think obviously going with the home run calls is fun and definitely more exciting than hit props. But I do think that you can get you're not going to get very good odds on one hit, obviously. The thing that you want to do, especially for guys like Judge and Stanton, you can get really, really good odds. Even Rizzo, too, going 2+ hits. Now, you can get Judge at +175. You can get Verdugo at +150, like that. Rizzo +200. And Giancarlo Stanton at +175. If you want to back your boy Urshela, plus 175 as well for multiple hits. So I think that's the way that I would approach this. I wouldn't try to go with the home run call. You can get same or better odds on multiple hit games from some of these players.
Yeah, I like it. I like talking about it. I think you're in a good spot with betting on some of those player props. Obviously, go look at Coin's article before you bet on any of this stuff. We're just here to give you our brief analysis. We're looking at everything analytical for the first time, but Coin's going to dive deep. He's going to spend hours and hours and hours researching this slate and making sure to put you guys in the best position. For the daily booster odds, because these have been juicy the last few days, and they do a good job of making sure to load up if it is an important sporting event. So we have 5 booster odds for this game. Yankees score over 4.5 runs was plus 105, now plus 150. Red Sox score over 3.5 runs was minus 125, now plus 115. Let's talk about those over on the run totals before we talk about the rest of those picks. Any interest just based on the odds boosters here?
I feel like the Red Sox over is weird. That 3.5. I know that Cole's on the mound, but Cole could still give up 3 runs and he's still be in the game.
Yeah.
So Red Sox over 3.5 seems like a really good plus money bet, and they can still lose and the under can still hit in that situation.
For sure. I can get behind that. That's definitely not a bad bet. Let's talk about some more. Do we also have Red Sox to cover plus 1.5? So getting the run line for the Red Sox was minus 153, now plus 100. So if it ends up being 4-3 Yankees, you still end up winning that Red Sox run line bet. Any interest in that bet?
Yeah, run line's always scary in the playoffs, especially for the team that's the dog. I'm gonna stay away from that one.
But I will say, if there's anywhere that the run line's going to hit, it is the playoffs, because these games are going to stay a lot closer than your traditional game during the regular season.
It's true. I think the one on the bottom of the page is the best one to bet on.
Yeah, so the one that we're talking about, or well, there's 2 more that are more prop based. Aaron Judge to hit a home run was plus 250, now is plus 325, and then Garrett Cole over 6.5 strikeouts and Yankees to win was plus 127, now plus 175. I can already tell you I'm going to put some cheddar on that. I'm going to place the bet right now to make sure I lock it in and I don't forget about it later tonight. But what are your thoughts here on these last 2 daily odds boosters?
Yeah, there's only really one that I feel good about, and it is that one, the Cole over 6.5 and the Yankees win. That's really, really good odds, especially because he is a minus 125 and probably going to be like closer to a minus 135, minus 140 favorite here. Yeah, I think that people kind of will bet this Yankees line in general towards first pitch, and I think Cole, regardless of what his performance is, should be able to get 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that it's pretty easy money to assume that Cole will get those 7 strikeouts and at least be good enough to get that done. All right, let's talk about some more stuff when it comes to today's show, because we have 10 more minutes. Got to talk about esports and NHL. No, it's not Jared and I talking about esports or NHL, because we don't know much about the sport, but we are going to learn. We're going to learn at least NHL for you guys this year. That way so we can talk about it on the show. But this is just to mention that we do have these 2 sports up and coming. Esports, does Worlds start today? Is that when Worlds
does start today?
Worlds starts today.
Yep, it's already starting.
Look at that.
Anthony is all over it right now, and
Beautiful.
yeah, it's going to be a great time. I'm excited for him because this is the time of year where all the esports tournaments happen at the same time. We have a lot of stuff going on for CS:GO. Dota 2 has some tournaments coming up. And yeah, Anthony is obviously, he's the best esports pro in the DFS industry, and I would highly suggest that you guys all sign up for his deals right now. Yeah, I have no words for the amount of consistency and time and effort that he puts into things. And while this is foreign to us, I definitely am excited to see what he's able to do here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely excited to see what he's going to be able to do. And then on the NHL side, we have Mike, Hockey Mike, getting ready to provide for this NHL season, which starts next Tuesday. We're just a week away from NHL. What are your thoughts? I mean, Mike's the best in the biz when it comes to NHL too. I mean, we have a lot of great pros, but Mike's a more behind the scenes guy that puts in a lot of work to the product, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and he is going to get the chance this year to be a little bit more open to the public. You'll see him a little bit around a little bit more here. Two things with that we have to announce. The first thing, and you guys all 15 to 20 of you that are in here right now, thanks for hanging out. You get to hear from us first, and we can confirm that there will be NHL season pass channels in the Roto Radar Discord for the first time in the company history. This is going to be Mike's year number 5, if not year number 6. So we will have NHL season pass channels in the Discord, and right now we're actually going to do this because we can. You can use code NHL 2022 on his season pass right now and get, man, what is it? I think it's $500 off. Like it's over a 70% discount. So use that promo code NHL 2022, and I will post that in the chat for you guys. You get an insane amount off. I'm doing the math here because I want to tell you guys how crazy of a discount this is right now.
It's
So
an
I'm gonna
insane
go.
discount. I know that for sure.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
remember we were just talking about this, and we were like, "This is absolutely crazy."
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and type it in here. Can confirm that it works. It takes $550 off. So you
Wow.
get the NHL season for just $200 for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, Mike's the best. He'll probably give that to you in 1 week, and it's a long season, so you're going to be able to profit with that long term. So here's the promo code again. Go ahead and hammer that baby out, and you'll get access to all of the season pass channels in the Discord that are going to be created today.
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, that's not very helpful. It's the same team play. I was wondering how long the NHL season is. Well, I guess I can do the math if it's over 82 games. Calculator. Roughly, you're gonna be paying like $2.50 per lineup, which I think is
Yeah.
just absolutely bonkers. Like that's absolutely insane. He also provides for playoffs too, so like you'll get that
Yep.
playoff content as well. And he's just a goat, man. The guy's awesome at what he does, and he absolutely kills it and does it quietly. And you guys should sign up because it's going to be a blast this season. We have a lot of sports coming up. We're going to have NBA coming up. I know Sean's already running some promos. He was last night for NBA, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And yeah, some exciting stuff happening for Roto Radar and for the company here. Anything else that you want to touch on for esports or NHL? And if not, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA.
No, let's go, and we can use this transition as kind of giving you guys some housekeeping, which we kind of already done. But now that we have all these sports rolling out at the same time, it's just important to know the deadlines. So obviously, playoffs for Corn start today, this evening. We have a bunch of esports tournaments, including Worlds, that's live right now. We have NHL starting 1 week from today, and then finally the NBA is just 2 weeks away from opening tip-off on October 19th.
Insane that we're 2 weeks. It always creeps up on us every year, and it's crazy to think that it's just 2 weeks away now. All right, what do you want to talk about in regards to NBA? We only have to say a few things. I know this was kind of thrown in case we needed some filler at the end of the show, but like I told you, we're always fine. We always find shit to talk about every day. So anything you want to talk about NBA wise that we can conversate about for a little bit?
No, I mean there's not much going around right now. Teams are in their training camps and they're playing their preseason games, which again doesn't matter at all. I think that this is like the one, like I wouldn't say the only sport, but it's kind of funny how we don't really have NBA preseason DFS, but it's DFS in every other sport, or sorry, preseason in every other DFS sport. So, I mean, I know that there are some times where you can do that. I haven't seen it much this season, and we don't even bother providing for it because there's like literally 100% variance. I'll say that there's literally
Yeah.
100% variance on all of it. So I don't know. I mean, do you have anything to touch on for the NBA? I know that Draymond Green's making headlines yet again, but I don't think this needs to get political.
No, it doesn't. But speaking of the Golden State Warriors, did you see the Curry shot last night?
Did not.
All
I
right,
heard
so
about it and it seems to be trending, so let's do it.
Yeah, let's watch this Curry shot really quickly. Let's get this up on the board here. All right, so here we go.
Part there in the right spot. That came after Nurk showing and helping. But these are the plays that the coaching staff will go back and look at and make sure as you look at that attention to detail, are you in the right spot? Yeah.
Sheesh. The guy's so good. That wasn't even the shot that I was thinking of, but that's okay. The shot that I was thinking of, I was hoping I could just look it up and find it, but the shot that I was thinking of was Curry. He's at the 3-point line. He dribbles back. He does his usual dribble back move, and he launches himself into a defender. And he thinks like, oh, this is the play that I've gotten fouled on every single season that I've been in the league. But since the NBA has changed their rulings up on on players like launching themselves into other players to get the fouls, the refs didn't call it. And so the announcers were all over him, like, oh, not this year, Curry, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it was funny. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see this rule change because, like, I didn't think it would affect things that much, but, like, I thought that was a foul. And it wasn't a foul according to the refs. So it's going to be interesting to see how this rule change they did changes things up. I think it's better for players overall. Like, I know I was personally sick of Harden throwing himself into a guy every few minutes to get a foul, or Trae Young, I guess, was the best example last year of a guy who just always just threw himself into the defender to get the foul. It makes for a better product if you're not doing that through the NBA season.
I 100% agree with that. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how those calls are going to be made.
It's going to be interesting to see how players adapt, right? Because, like, if you take that out of your game, what do you do now? Like, especially for those guys like Harden, who, like, not needs, but, like, he usually gets 10 free throw attempts a game.
Yeah, as a guard, I'm not sure how do you make that happen, but yeah, I just watched it, so that's very interesting. If they're not going to call that.
Yeah, can you send me the link on Discord if you have it in front of you, so I can show people what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, now I gotta find it again.
Oh, jeez. This
Here
fucking
it is. I got it. I got it.
Beautiful.
Right.
Hold on, guys. All right, there we go. Get this up.
There's never been.
Rewind. Let's go back to video recaps. Back and forth, back and forth. All right, here we go.
Iguodala, who's never been out of shape. Out ahead it comes to Randall. 8 minutes gone by, and the Warriors on top by 4. Curry defending by a little drop off his.
Not this year.
Not this year.
White.
Not this year. That always cracks me up when he says that. Not this year. Not this year. Not happening. Yeah, so I mean, if that's not getting called a foul, like, I could see a ton of players getting really pissed off. I could see a lot of technicals early on in the season from guards who are going to get mad about that and say like, hey, what the heck is happening here, man? Like, why? How did I not get a foul there? So going to be interesting to see. Going to be interesting to watch how that develops throughout the NBA season. All right, we're towards the end here. Just want to give a quick thank you to our friends over at betonline.ag. If you need anything from a sportsbook, you should go head over there. They also have their casino where you can play the slots, you can play blackjack, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. You can bet on horses over there. They have poker tournaments. Absolutely awesome. But the thing that I love about them the most is their player-friendly approach. I mean, we already went over some of the odds boosters. They do that every single day, and it's not like they're required to do it or anything. They do it because, like I said, they are a player-friendly sportsbook, which I think you don't see around very often. You don't see at all except for betonline.ag. So thank you to our sponsors over at BetOnline. Greatly appreciate you guys being our sponsors for the NFL season. And anything that you want to say about BOL before we get out of here, Jared?
Thank you for letting me cash my LA Chargers -3 last night.
Yeah, thank you for letting me fucking run away with money this weekend. I bet on. We did really well this weekend. We did really well this weekend. We were on point this weekend. We lost the Rams bet, which was my biggest bet of the weekend. So that's okay. That's all right because I had plenty more bets. Won the Packers -6.5, which you advised me on. Won Washington football -0.5 because I bought the hook. And then won. Patrick Mahomes over 3 touchdowns. That was the easiest bet of my life because he cashed in the first half. So again, like just super player friendly odds over there at BOL. So again, want to thank them for everything they do for us. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Jared, anything else before we get out of here? Any final notes?
No, go get Corn's playoff package. Do it today.
Do it. Don't miss out. It's a ridiculous deal right now, and the fact that you can get it for $29 and he's going to provide for every single game slate throughout the playoffs is absolutely incredible. So make sure to go do it. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good morning and good skill.